Okay, so today we're going over a checking and debit card register. Of course, you're going to put the person's name we support and what month and year. Start off with, let's go over these columns. We have check code, date, description, and then we've got a few initials here. We're going to go over all of that. You've got a column for withdrawals, a column for deposits, and then the balance. And this balance has to always be filled in. It cannot be blank. This line is for staff to sign if you were the person that supported them with the transaction. And then if there's any transactions that have cash back, the person has to sign this column that indicates they're verifying and confirming that yes, you took out this cash and that it is in their possession. So let's start with this check and code column. This is where you're going to write what method of payment. So if you paid with a check, you would put the check number in here, like 1007. But we have also other options. Most of the time nowadays, people are using debit cards. So for the debit card, we would be putting C in this column. If it was a deposit, then we would be putting a just a D in that column. A lot of people now have automatic withdrawals coming out of their accounts. So, like the Hulu subscription or Amazon, and that's the code is AW for auto withdrawal. The next column is the date. So, of course, that'd be just today, which for me is the 16th. And then the description of the receipt. So that's where you're going to write in like McDonald's, or actually, this is an auto withdrawal. So it's most likely going to be Amazon Prime subscription, or another common one is, like PSE might be set up on auto pay, Xfinity. And for those, we do require a receipt. So let's go to the next column down here. We've got RCPMB, and those are answered up here. There's also, actually, those are up here. Oh my gosh. Uh, oh, okay. This part will be cut out. Okay, so we were getting back to what these sections are for. So R is for receipt present. You're going to check that off if you know that you have a receipt, Xfinity. And just because it's an automatic withdrawal, it still has to have a receipt. So either support the person to log in to their Xfinity account and download it that way, or if the person got the receipt to their email, then we need to print that out. You can send it to someone at the TLC office and ask them to print it out for you. But this is just a reminder column that the receipt needs to be present. The next one here is C, and that you're only checking off if cash back was taken out. So cash back from your shopping at Fred Meyer, the person gets cash back because if you remember, we've got this signature line that the person needs to sign if there's cash back. So when you see that whenever you're checking off that C, it's a reminder that you need to get the person to sign for that. The P here is for items purchased $75 or more. That's a reminder if you check that box that the item needs to be also written onto the property record. Unless the person you support has a refusal for property record, then we have to always keep the property record updated with anything that's worth $75 or more. The M, that one is here, stands for medical. And if we're checking off the M, here I'm going to uncheck these, then that means that the person had to pay out of pocket for some kind of medical expense. So that would be like if all the medications weren't completely covered and the person had to pay out of pocket to the pharmacy. And the reason behind this is because we are mandated by the state to make sure that we have explored every other option for the person. So before they would have to pay out of pocket. So we would have to, make sure, oh, was that bill actually a correct bill? And if did the insurance already pay their part? Did they not pay their part? Do they have any other insurance that could possibly cover it? And if it still lines up that the person supported has to pay out of pocket, then we need to do a notification to DDA. So talk with your supervisor about how to make that notification. Another good example we don't always think of is some people will buy their vitamins or like melatonin. I think that might be a vitamin, anyways. They'll buy those over the counter. So, meaning it doesn't go through insurance. And so we need to report those to DDA as well. Another example is when it comes to medical supplies such as gloves, gauze, etc. Have we made sure that we ran it through the insurance, got a script from the doctor, sent into the pharmacy, and run it through to see if it can be covered by insurance? And if not, gloves we also supply at TLC. So, did we explore every other avenue for this person to get their supplies covered before the person had to pay for it out of their own pocket? Now, let's get back to the checking register. It is crucial that every month, at the very beginning of the month, the first line of the checking register is filled in, and that is with the starting balance. So, B, we have for B was for the balance here. That's the code. The date, it's always the first of the month. And then you're just going to write in beginning balance. Check this off. And then you are going to get this number from the ending balance of the month before. So you just look up what that number was at the end of the month from, in this case, it would have been December. And we're going to put that number into the balance sheet for the beginning balance of this month. So let's say the person has $134.25 at the end of the previous month. So always start off the new month by filling out this top line here. Let's do a couple of examples. So the person went out to dinner at Applebee's. And so we're going to use the debit card was used to pay. The date goes here. Let's say they went out on the 3rd. Applebee's. And then we want to make sure receipt is kept present. Check off for me. And then let's just talk quickly about these two columns, the withdrawal column and the deposit column. So if you went shopping at, or I mean, you went out to dinner at Applebee's, which column would that go in? That would be a withdrawal. So 15, let's say it's 15 even. And then we have to update the balance. So that's going to be 134 minus 15. Get out your calculator. So get out your calculator. So we've got 134.25 minus, withdrawal is a minus, 15. So the new total, the new balance is 119.25. So let's do another example, but this time we're going to do the deposit. So you remember that up here we've got D for deposit, goes here. So the person, either it's their Social Security payment that came in, maybe the person's guardian transferred money into the account, or, oh, they might have a paycheck. So the D is going here for deposit, and then the date, I'm going to do that this was a Social Security payment. Looks like I don't know how to spell. We don't need a receipt for that. None of these actually apply because this is a deposit. But we're going to go over here. We're going to go into this deposit column and we're going to make the deposit. So let's say the person got 1609 deposited into their account, and then you're going to come over here. And again, we're going to grab our calculator. And we're going to take the 119.25 and we're going to add, deposit column is add. Add 1609 equals. So then we're going to update, we're going to update the balance, 1728, 1728.25. And there you have your updated balance. So it's very important to always fill in, and then since you're the person making the entry, go ahead and sign your name. The person we support does not have to sign their name because it wasn't cash back. Should we do a cash back? Let's do a cash back. Cash back. This would be like, for an example, if you went to Fred Meyer's and you bought some groceries and then the person also requested cash back. So let's say that the groceries came to $50 and then the person you were supporting requested $50 cash back. The total receipt would be for $100. However, we're going to break it down into two different lines so that we can appropriately document how the money was spent. So first we have the debit card. We're going to say 1/4/24 for the date. We went shopping at Fred Meyer. And so the amount of the groceries was 50. I'm doing 50 just to make it easy, a flat number. And then you're going to do a separate line, also debit card. And same day. And then we're going to call this Fred Meyer cash back. And that's going to be another $50. However, we're going to make sure that, of course, we have the receipts for both of these. And On the cashback line, we want to check off C for cash. And that's our reminder again that besides when we sign, the person we support will have to sign as well, confirming that they did receive the cash. And so then again, we're going to we're going to update the balances. So 1728.25 minus 50. So that's 1678.5. And then minus another 50. 1628.25. And at this point, this actually segues us over to the cash register training because if TLC supports the person with cash management, they have what's called a cash register. And we are going to do that training next. However, if you are supporting someone that manages their own cash, then you can end the training here as long as you signed and the person you support signed there, you are good to go.